Well, hello, welcome. This is a little build I've been working on. It is a Crucible Knight, but it's more accurate to call it a little faith strength build. The rune level is level 80. The upgrade level is plus 15 or plus 6 unique. You can see the stats right there. Here's some more little bits about the build. Starting class Vagabond. Mostly, I think 50 Vigor is fine for this rune level. Of course, you can go up to 60. I don't think 40 is adequate for level 80, but 50 is a nice little soft spot in between there, especially if you need to have all those points dedicated and towards endurance and strength and faith, which this build definitely needs a lot of in order to use Devonia's hammer as well. This build also takes advantage of a number of spells. Most notably, it gets access to all of the Crucible spells at 27 faith. And it gets access to Heal from Afar and Bestial Vitality. I also added Fire Serpent and Flame Cleanse Me and Roar of Rugula as kind of utility. The 28 faith does get you access to Divine Beast Tornado from the DLC, but even on this up, I don't even use it. There's a couple other things which that accesses, but for the most part, these spells, they're pretty cool. I actually sometimes make good use of aspects of the Crucible Tail because it actually has a good amount of pipe armor, and also aspect of the Crucible Horns because it is a nice little chase down from neutral. It's not that much better than other options, but it does get poise and it does go a good distance, which is a nice little mix-up. But yeah, those are weapon options. Oh, I guess this thing also gets one of these little thorns here. But yeah, as I was saying, this build takes advantage of a number of the Crucible weapons, most notably Devonia's hammer and Ordovis's greatsword. Funny little Ash of War, those two. With 30 endurance and the Ur Tree's Favor +2, with 27 endurance, you can use the entirety of the Crucible set and the Misericord and the Seal, and also medium roll with Devonia's Colossal. This build is also really nice. It does naturally, without any effort, get to 71 poise, which is useful in order to poise this weapon here, this particular attack, the Thrusting Sword, one-handed light attack. And if need be, you can go up to Bulk Out, and you get that 95 poise. Really beefy, especially for two-handed light weapons, like Long Sword here, or the Straight Sword class weapon class, or Hell. I'm not sure about Twin Blades, but I know katanas, you often see Moonveil, Rivers of Blood, those LPs love that weapon. But enough about that. What is the intention behind this build? I think, for me, I made this build, this is gonna sound rather paradoxical, but it's meant for a beginner's type of invasion build. And you're like, oh, this is interesting. Not rune level 80. What does that mean, beginner? It's not beginner in the sense that you think of it. It's like, this is a nice invasion build because Leyndell's a nice little area. Level 80 does get you a lot of Leyndell. It does get you a lot of Shunning Grounds. Bit confusing, but I'd still say it's fair. A little bit of late Altus, a little bit of early Mountaintops. But no, this is beginner in this sense on the left here. This is a bit of an inventory, and you did see a little bit earlier, a little bit of it, but I believe, and one of you who also know me know that I'm a big swapper, big on weapon swaps, and for those who aren't into weapon swapping necessarily, but want to get started with it, this is a nice little inventory layout for that. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. But essentially, this build is catered for people who want to try out like something new. This is a Crucible build, no crazy Twink armor, Twink helmet, no Divine Beast stuff here. No G9 styled offhand wacky inventory where you set up your sword like this and you have to go swap like this, and whenever you have to do this, you do that. No, this is, I'd say, very principled stuff. Right, so let's get started to just looking at what this inventory does. The primary part of this inventory is surrounding this Ordovis's greatsword here. Everything is kind of built around this, and well, you think the first thought is like, that's not the center. If anything, this is the center. No, this is the center in the sense that when you unequip your weapon, when you press start, select your weapon, you can hit right trigger and you're already in the action, right? And everything else is kind of built around that idea, right? If you want to use the Death Knight Twin Axe as a chase down, you can easily do that just by hitting up on the D-pad. Hit down, already into Golden Crux. And right, you get into the Ordovis's Devonia trade. Right? Which is really nice. I like it. It does rely on this not being here. This is a mistake that I commonly make whenever I use this build. It's actually using bulk outs. This is the one of the few flaws of this build, is reliant on using Erd Favor +2 in order to get access to Devonia's without heavy rolling. As you can tell, this is a bit heavy rolling. I was really thrown off there by the light roll momentarily, but yes, this is heavy loading. And your option for Colossals, if you want to continue medium rolling, is the funny little Sunflower over here. Nice little weapon. Still does a lot of the things that Devonia does, just no little fun spin here. Yeah, nice little options on this build also include the Sword Lance, nice little Storm Stomp into R1 combo, a lot of people know that, or R2 more importantly. We also have Dane's Footwork for the running R2, and to get people who love to trade into this Ash of War here, this, a lot of you might have caught these Clean Rot swords. Why are they uninfused? That goes back to the idea that kind of set this build, is that this is beginner friendly. This is also beginner friendly because it actually doesn't require any trades, any duplicates of any items, or going New Game Plus. And you might be looking at these misericordes, and you're like, I'll get to that, right? But for basically all these weapons, you can farm all of them, and they don't require you going into another New Game cycle. These Clean Rots are farmable with Bloodhound Step. These Warhawk Talons they're one of my favorite straight swords. They all endure, well, except for these two, I suppose. But you can just farm these, and the rest of these are just single copies, right? We're not going to have a million Stormhawk axes, not 1 billion Gundir's halberds, if any of you know that lore. And these are just more daggers. If you want to keep this without any drops, you can just replace these with daggers, just regular daggers. You can farm those off of the Godric Knights you find outside of within the first starting area, or heck, anywhere in the world. You can often find little knights with the dagger. You can just farm off of them, but I like using the ones right near Geel Lake because those are pretty common to farm anyways. But You don't need to be bumming off your friends in order to get this build really set up. This can be done all in a single new game cycle. Additionally, why these are all uninfused is that Ashes of War, or Lost Ashes of War, are a bit of a premium when you're on a single new game cycle. You don't really need to infuse these for the job they need to do, right? The job that those things are supposed to do, right, is when you're chasing down somebody, oftentimes, these chase down options are kind of weak. You see how much end lag is on each hit? You can just simply go back into the running attack just with one swap, right? From the action, continue running, right? Oh, a little embarrassing, but the idea is just to go to that, or this, on a chase down, right? Instead of going on this, you can go on this for multiple parts of your inventory just by hitting left on the D-pad, right? Golden crutch, hit left, and you're already there, right? Just like that. And same with Death Knight Twin Axe, which already has a good chase down option, right? This is still good. But if you have a little bit of trouble, you can always just do that, right? A nice little trick with this build is that with this inventory setup specifically, you go for more Dovises, right? Hit left twice, and you're into the longest heavy thrusting sword in the game, which currently is Quaylen's Greatsword with Flaming Strike. That's a pretty good buff right there. Gets you good 555 damage, which is respectable at this level, right? Yeah, I guess I can go through the rest of these weapons one by one. These at the top here are all set up, except for this one, with parry, so that you can, from basically anywhere at this level or higher, just go here and parry swap, right? Which is a really useful tool. This is Bloodhound Step right here, just right below that, in case you need to get away from something. Over here, these are just a set of Warhawk Talons if you want to straight sword swap into Power Stance straight swords, right? Nice little option, and if you don't like Endure, you can always swap to something else here, right? Either Storm Stomp or Sword Dance, which I quite like. You often see it used in a very meta setup. This is a dueling shield with Sacred Blade. It's a nice little chase down option. Interesting. I don't use it too often, but it does get the job done when you need it to. This is a Winged Scythe, nice little invasion tool here, especially for punishing heals. Yeah. This is, and you'll see this a lot in the invasions coming up. Nice little aspects of Crucible Wings. Not really good, I'll be honest. Even with the special Twin Blade effect, but it's still okay. This is just a standard Knight's Greatsword with Piercing Fang. You get access to Euphoria with this funny little laser beam here. Well, it's not, I don't have it charged up, but you get the idea. This is a standard Endurapada. This could be, these two I like. Black Knife. So the idea with this is that from the Ordovis's Greatsword, you can just hit down twice and apply some dot damage right onto your enemy. And this and the Fire Knight's Short Sword? Yeah, that's what this thing is called. This is actually the longest dagger currently. It's not Misericord anymore, it's actually Fire Knight's Short Sword. Both have this very interesting R2 double slash, especially with this length, and you'll see with Flame Spear help catch people with range. You actually get a surprising amount of combo potential off this weapon specifically. And yes, many of you might be thinking, what happened to Erd Steel Dagger? Good old honest Kenneth Height weapon. It actually does less damage than this weapon. it does somewhere around the range of 371 AR, while this does 391 at this level of investment, which is very interesting, even though it does fire. And long knight half axe with the little slam here. Death Knight long half axe. Might have misspoke there a little bit. The Horned Warrior's Greatsword with... I'll admit, I find this to be inferior to Stormhawk Axe, but it's fine. It is Faith, and it's pure physical. Nice little combo potential. You could always replace it with Dismounter, but I like it. These two are utility, because I don't think that I'll rather want to just do this into hit left trigger, left D-pad swap into Claw Mark, or from here. These are meant as... These misericordes in the bottom are meant to be a sort of getaway tool. And this is meant for AFK farmers, or people who like being bastards, so that you can snipe them out from range. But yeah, that should be the vast majority, if not the entirety of these builds. You can power stance Great Spear with these two, if you like that. I like the two-handed moveset more. Yes, and in terms of the talismans, those are also somewhat set. This isn't really based off of anything with this build specifically. I just like running this arrangement because it's what I'm used to on most of my non-Faith builds. That's why you see the trigger swap to two-finger heirloom here, because oftentimes I don't have enough Faith for it, and it's better to spare those points by using the two-finger heirloom. But this is just going to be generally running Blue Dew Talisman. If you do want to, you can actually swap down here with Millicent's Prosthesis and get access to Letta's light greatsword. But you don't necessarily need to do that. I think it's a bit of... You lose out, and these two talismans here are meant to be swap talismans. You don't need them. These two are the only hard talismans that this build has, and the rest of these can be swapped at any time to something a bit more advantageous in the moment. Like this. This is the arrangement if you want to maximize your vigor. It's going to be closer to 1800 as opposed to 2400 because I'm rune arced right now. But you can always swap this down to something that looks a little bit more like this in a PvP scenario. This is a nice little arrangement here. You can go back to two-handed sword talisman if you like that, or even do something like this when your health gets low, like that. And this will bring you back up to being pretty defensible without having all the bigger checks and such. Crimson Sea Talisman down here, and let me set that back up to full. Yeah, this is just the area below it, right? Everything below this is just, well, it's kind of trash, I'll be honest. It's just whatever I don't like, I stick below that. The bulk of my talismans are on this page and this page. This is an interesting idea if you want to get a little bit of poise from that. And this is an interesting idea if you want to show off your little Crucible Knight setup. And yeah, that's really it. Yeah, that should be the explanation of basically everything that this build runs. Yeah, I suppose I've done enough talking about this build. I think it's now time to get into the invasions and show you what this build can do. Alright, let's get it.